Welcome to Omni Commerce, the future of retail and how your business gets there. I'm Mark Chin, CEO of Webstore.com. We host online stores that help merchants sell consistently and effectively across online, mobile, and retail channels. But we're not here to talk about product. We're here to talk about a vast sea change that is occurring in the world of commerce and how you can use it to grow sales and repeat business. If you're a retailer, an e-tailer, or both, this talk will help you plot your sales strategy going forward. You can probably guess just from the Latin derivation that omnicommerce is about all ways of selling to the customer. And you'd be right, but not complete. Others call it unified commerce, omnichannel retailing, multi-channel retailing, or even customer-focused commerce. Today, I'd like to peel that onion back a few layers so we can get beyond semantics of catchy marketing phrases and understand what omnicommerce really is and how you can implement it. I'll first talk about some trends, making a case for why omnicommerce is important. Then, I'll dive into a deeper description of what omnicommerce is. Next, I'll talk about where we are today, where we want to go, and then how to get there before a final wrap-up. So let's get started. Why omnicommerce? So I pulled this chart from the US Census Bureau showing that in 2015, e-commerce grew at 10 times the pace of brick-and-mortar retail. In defense of retail, which has been around much longer, approximately 90% of all consumer goods still sell through brick-and-mortar retail. Nevertheless, the continued expansion of e-commerce has retailers thinking, how can we leverage that trend to our benefit? And the short answer is, if you can't beat them, then join them. But probably not in the way you're thinking. It takes more than just adding an online store or selling in an online marketplace to compete, as we'll see in the coming slides. The pure-play e-commerce markets are also aware of this shift. And despite talk of drone deliveries from airborne warehouses, they're also pursuing investments in brick and mortar. They understand that e-commerce convenience combined with the power of place branding and a tangible shopping experience is a threat to the all-digital experience that pure-play e-commerce players provide. Omnicommerce joins retail and online selling, so there is no longer a distinction between retailers and e-tailers, but just merchants that sell consumer goods any way, anywhere, anytime the consumer desires. Omnicommerce isn't brand new. It's been hyped since at least 2013, but a lot of folks really took note when Walmart announced its Omnicommerce plans at its 2015 annual shareholders meeting. Their CEO proclaimed, "I want to stop talking about digital and physical retail as if they're two separate things. The customer doesn't think of it that way, and we can't either." He's right. This is not some harebrained marketing experiment that needs a massive consumer education program. Rather, this is a change being driven by the consumer. The results are already in. These figures from 2015 studies show that customers that shop across channels buy more, 15 to 30% more per order than those that shop on one channel only. They also buy more often, 50% more often than those that don't shop across channels. Furthermore, over $1.8 trillion worth of consumer goods sales will be influenced by mobile and online shopping in 2017. You've all seen shoppers comparison shopping on their mobile phones while in store, and I'm sure many of you also research online before heading to a store. These customers, which is more than 90% of all consumers, expect a consistent and seamless shopping experience when transitioning across sales channels. But why is this happening now when e-commerce has been around for decades? It's because of this computer we carry around in our pockets. Your mobile phone is always on, always connected, and it's changed our lives immensely. We socialize on it, we conduct business on it, and now we shop on it. The mobile shopping experience has improved significantly over the past few years. You no longer need a magnifying glass to read the fine print, and you no longer need a coffee break while your phone processes your order. But the allure of omnicommerce shopping is bigger than this. So let's take a closer look at what omnicommerce is and its allure. Omnicommerce turns the focus from the merchant to the customer so that shoppers are engaged more effectively and consistently across channels. They're empowered from the selection process all the way through fulfillment, and they're receiving better service. Let's examine these attributes in more detail. With Omnicommerce, customers have access to real-time inventory, transparent pricing, product videos, reviews, and comparisons. These are all advantages that e-commerce has held forever, but Omnicommerce levels the playing field. Store shoppers no longer depend on hunting down the sales associate with the bullseye on their back. But Omnicommerce is doing more than just educating the customer in the purchasing decision. It also removes friction from the purchasing process with digital coupons, customer profiles, and wish lists, and those new pop-up ads that advertise 20% off brownies as you're walking past the furniture store cafe. The value of location makes this a much stronger selling proposition than the same ad appearing on a PC at home or a coupon mailer. These features help pull more customers into the sales funnel. But merchants need a more efficient way to process these increased orders. Empowering the customer optimizes checkout and fulfillment. Customers can choose items from any number of locations and have them fulfilled to one or more destinations using a variety of delivery mechanisms. In a single order, a shopper can purchase online and pick up a Mother's Day bouquet locally and deliver another to mom from the remote store closest to her. Turns out customers love having visibility and control throughout the purchasing decision and fulfillment, so they come back more often. But customer loyalty doesn't stop at customer empowerment. It can also be enhanced in the pre-sale stage with mobile point of sales, where sales associates can help customers in the purchasing decision rather than being chained to the checkout counter. After the purchase, support staff needs to be able to pull up order history quickly without jumping through multiple systems. Nothing annoys customers more than repeating their account number to each rep they're passed off to. A single unified real-time view of customers and order history across locations solves this issue and enables customer returns to any store. Better customer service through every touch point leads to happier, more loyal customers. So as you can see, Omnicommerce is much more than just being able to accept orders from any channel. It's about engaging customers consistently and effectively across channels and locations, empowering their capabilities, and providing better customer service. So now let's talk about where we are today with hosted platforms. E-commerce and retail platforms have evolved separately for many years, creating stovepipes of applications and silos of data. As a result, you can't just add an online store to a retail platform to create omnichannel capabilities, nor can you add a point-of-sale system to an e-commerce platform. The results may work in a very limited way, but will always be crippled with scalability issues, issues with manageability, and security. There are simply too many evolved differences between retail and e-commerce platforms. To place this in its proper context, you need to understand that e-commerce generally requires multiple platforms. Third-party systems for order and inventory management, accounting, and shipping are the rule. Every individual order must be synchronized amongst these systems. Any disconnection or last-second changes will disrupt the flow of operations, and reconciliation can be a real nightmare. No doubt you've rushed into a store as the doors open, only to find the advertised item out of stock. This is a classic sign of disjointed systems. Retail platforms also have complex ecosystems that process orders and pass data between systems. Complexity opens the door to operational inefficiency and human error. If you've ever been passed between service reps and had to supply your account ID each time, you know you're dealing with disjointed systems. So now that omnicommerce demands are forcing e-commerce and retail to work as one, the simplest and sometimes only option is to create a connector or add-on joining these legacy platforms. The result is an even more complex and fragile ecosystem, dependent on keeping multiple copies of data in sync. Any development becomes especially challenging when the original developers have retired or moved on. Furthermore, synchronized systems will never have the unified real-time view of orders, inventory, and fulfillment that's needed for scalable omnicommerce processing. So hopefully you have a better appreciation of the complexity involved. So now it's time for a pop quiz. On the left, we have the house of doors, where every square foot has an entryway. And on the right, we have a castle with a drawbridge and a moat. Which is more secure? If you guessed the house of doors, you might be in the wrong seminar. The same thing applies when you have a lot of complex systems running your company. Even if your payment system is secure, it's the access and permissions between systems that can affect your security, as it did in some of these retailers' networks. The Target breach in 2014, where 40 million credit cards were stolen, was due to a network administration error. It wasn't the underlying technology, but the human administration of the technology that allowed a hacker to use a less secure partner site to access Target's point-of-sale network. This is an unfortunate example illustrating why PCI scope includes any and all systems that can connect to the card data environment. Forcing and regulating PCI compliance on partners, however, is not feasible. So the obvious answer is to remove the card data environment from any network that interacts with unknown applications. Payment gateway tokens are the simplest way to mitigate this risk. Unneeded complexity is never a good thing. Working across multiple logins, synchronizing and reconciling data between systems is inefficient and fragile. When disparate systems work across a connection, capabilities are lost and scalability is limited. And you end up with a big expensive mess, one that's expensive to license and maintain. Given the issues with connecting legacy systems, let's examine the best way to build secure, scalable omnicommerce that's simpler to implement. The right way to do omnicommerce is to create a platform specifically for omnicommerce, a native omnicommerce platform, if you will. This doesn't mean you need to throw out your legacy platforms. There are practical ways to implement a new platform without impacting existing systems. But first, let's see what a native omnicommerce platform looks like. To do omnicommerce right, it's important to realize the front office is just the tip of the iceberg. It's the icing on the cake. So, if you want to go to the omnicommerce party, you have to bring the entire cake. If your front office accepts orders from multiple locations, your back office needs to route those orders and decrement inventory from the proper locations. You need a single console that can manage all locations and channels. And none of this works without a single, unified, real-time view of inventory across channels and locations. Everything depends on having a unified real-time view of customers, orders, inventory, and fulfillment from a single secure vault. Credit card data should only be accessed using gateway tokens so that card data is never visible to the OmniCommerce platform. Securing your credit card data enables flexibility for the services that manipulate item sourcing, payment, and delivery. These services calculate shipping and tax for one or more packages in an order, ensure orders are forwarded to the correct store or warehouse or even a partner, and the inventory is decremented correctly while packages are delivered to the specified destinations using the customer-selected delivery methods. Efficient operations can be had with a browser management console that securely manages every location and every channel from any connected device. Working across multiple consoles is inefficient and error-prone. From a broader perspective, an omni-commerce platform that's simple, secure, and scalable paves the way for rich services that engage, empower, and service your customer. Omni-commerce begins with infrastructure. So now that you've seen what an omni-commerce platform looks like, how do you get there? There are multiple methods of adopting omni-commerce. If you're just starting out, or your business runs on spreadsheets, or you spent less than 6 figures on your IT, then it's easier to migrate. The transition is simple, and you'll be amazed at how many tasks are automated. Real-time reports on revenue and profit for each store, and the ability to easily print shipping labels will save hours of work each day. If you've already invested in systems and trained staff to use those systems, or you've spent 6 figures on your IT, then you're best taking a coexistence or integration path. These methods provide more time to train staff and create processes for in-store pickup. It allows you to add products gradually to your omnicommerce site with minimal impact to your existing environment. In fact, a coexistence strategy leaves your existing systems and processes totally untouched, but requires you to manage the legacy and the new omnicommerce site. If you prefer to maintain just one site, then you can integrate a small script on each product page of your original site. It's a trivial task for any developer. Actual implementation steps are similar to most do-it-yourself e-commerce platforms. After adding products through a spreadsheet or individual entry, the next step is to add branding. A point-and-click editor allows non-technical users to add logo, images, color, and text. The final step of adding business rules is as simple or as complex as your business is. The bulk of the effort is securing a merchant account to process credit card payments and creating delivery options for your customer. Like most anything else, the more effort you put into it, the more you'll reap from it. So there you have it. Let's recap some of the points we covered. We talked about the importance of omnicommerce as a way to increase order size and repeat business. We described omnicommerce engagement, empowerment, and service, so you got a deeper understanding of what omnicommerce really is. We compared the limitations and inefficiencies of bolting on applications versus starting with a native omnicommerce platform. Then we discussed how you can adopt omnicommerce in a gradual, non-disruptive manner. And by now, you're probably wondering what my involvement is. Well, my team and I have developed everything I just described over the past 5 years. We're passionate about helping small and medium-sized businesses adopt omnicommerce in turnkey fashion. For larger businesses, we can help with consulting arrangements to meet the most demanding requirements. Our developers are talented, they've been with us since the beginning, and I anticipate they'll be with WebStore for a very long time. We're a second-time bootstrap company with a 10-year history of success. Here's my contact information with a link to my LinkedIn profile. Thank you again for taking the time to be here, and hope to be hearing from you soon on any e-commerce needs or questions you might have.